Outside of two surprising seasons over the last decade, last 2 decades even, the New York Knicks have been very mediocre for a short period of time, a very, very short-lived period of time. It was Julius Randle, who at one point was an all-NBA player. Looking at the Knicks right now, it's very gloomy. It's pretty grim. So let's talk about why that is. Let's talk about why I believe this team needs a hard reset, what they can do to accomplish that. When you look at it at face value, you can see the problems. The number one guy for them, the guy who was supposed to help them make that leap into legit contention, RJ Barrett. So far through 4 NBA seasons, he has just not looked like a third overall worthy pick. RJ Barrett takes the most shots on the team. He's very inefficient. He cannot shoot the ball. He can only drive left, and the defense is very suspect. He's not as athletic as you would hope. For RJ Barrett, it's a lot more wrong than there is right, but at the same time, there are a couple of bright spots. And when I say a couple, I truly mean a couple. There is only a couple things that you look at and be like, okay, RJ Barrett does have some pluses in certain areas. And I feel like for him to really take a leap, even if it wouldn't show up statistically, is he just needs to take a back seat. Something that we've definitely learned over his career is that RJ Barrett cannot be the guy. He can be the guy. And the sooner the Knicks learn that, the better, because I feel like if you put him in an Andrew Wiggins role where you reduce his role, he focuses more on maybe passing the ball, creating for others, off-ball slashing, not taking as many low percentage shots, not operating much in isolation situations, we can probably see him be a lot more effective. And you might say it's pretty crazy to say because of all the comparisons that he's gotten, but I don't think RJ Barrett is looking like a future all-star, all-NBA player. I don't think he's that. I think he's much closer to like a Harrison Barnes type than he is to like a Paul George type, and that's just what it is. But I mean, RJ Barrett is not the main person to blame for the Knicks' struggles. I mean, there's Julius Randle, who, like we talked about earlier, had an all-NBA season, mind you, in a year where it was COVID, there was no fans, and the Knicks were surprising a lot of people, but he just hasn't been able to replicate the success he had 2 seasons ago, and I don't think it's ever going to happen again. I mean, we look at we look at Julius Randle as a player. He's already 28 years old. His game just doesn't seem like one that'll translate well. Features a lot of isolation basketball, and he just does not care on defense. I'm just going to be honest with you. His assists per game have dipped year in and year out. His rebounds have dipped year in and year out. His points are up, which is good. But I mean, is it really? I don't know what to make of Julius Randle. Not a 1, he's not a 2. He might not even be a 3. Who knows what he is at this point. Another player that they should kind of look to ship out. And I mean, looking at the rest of the roster, I mean, it's guys like Mitchell Robinson, who for some odd reason got a 4-year, nearly $80 million contract or something in that range. For whatever reason, it never really made sense to me. He's very foul prone, injury prone, he has no post moves, and sometimes he just looks out of it. Like, I don't understand why he was given that contract. And the rest of their young pieces are not good. I'm sorry, they're not. Quentin Grimes is okay, he's solid, but he's supposed to be molded into this 3-and-D guy, but the on-ball abilities just aren't there. Emmanuel Quickly has had 1 season not shooting over 50%, 45, 1 season shooting over 40% from the field. Obi Toppin was 21 years old when he was drafted, and he's already 24, so how much better can he really get? People have this infatuation with Cam Reddish. Oh my god, the Knicks need to play him more. Maybe Cam Reddish is just not good. Maybe he's just not good. He shows flashes here and there. I understand that, but he still has consistency issues. His basketball IQ is just not all the way there. I mean, there are clear-cut issues with Cam Reddish that a lot of people just choose to ignore. And then you got the older guys like Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier who should look to trade, but the problem is their contracts are just very not worth the play that they give you. But I can't just bag on the Knicks whole video. I mean, they do definitely have some big bright spots, and the biggest one so far this season has been Jalen Brunson. A lot of people had a lot of questions about why the Knicks threw all this money at him, and so far he's looked worth the contract. Jalen Brunson is the best point guard that the Knicks have had in however many years. I mean, on the year he's averaging 21 points, 6 assists, he's shooting 48% from the field. That's all-star quality play. The Knicks also signed Isaiah Hartenstein to a contract this past offseason, and so far he's been well worth his money. And they also have Jericho Sims, who's this athletic freak with this insane vertical that just, you throw the ball up and he's going to come down and get it. I feel like it would have made much more sense to invest more in those two than it would Mitchell Robinson. But hey, I'm not the GM. I'm not the one making the decisions. And it's all brought together by Coach Tom Thibodeau, who honestly should have been out the door last season. But hey, it's all right. They had the success the previous year before last season, so 2 seasons ago, So I guess it warranted him staying an extra year. But either way, we're here to talk about the title of the video, a hard reset. And that's just what the Knicks need to have. Stop trying to go after all these top free agents because you usually luck out. Stop trying to make these big trades because they just don't work for you. Reset starts with trading Julius Randle. Reset starts with trading Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose. And I'm going to say it. The reset starts with trading RJ Barrett. You have to get rid of these guys. I'm sorry. I'd even throw guys like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly in there. I mean, it's time to trade Mitchell Robinson. If you can, I don't know who's taking on that contract. I'm gonna be honest with you. But it's time for a new direction. It's time for a new culture change. It's time for a culture shift. It's time to sell the team, man. Sell the team, new GM, new everything. Hey, let's bring in some new dogs in here that are gonna really bring this franchise back to the top. Like I said, you got positive pieces like Jalen Brunson, who would be a great point guard for the future. They can't keep doing what they're doing. Let's be honest, it's not gonna work. It's never gonna work. I mean, people ask night in and night out, what should this team do, when the answer's right in front of you. You know what this team needs to do. They just have to go out there and do it.